turn your old worn out Game Boy screen from this into this. Hey. Let's see how it's done. If you're a Game Boy enthusiast in 2023, you probably know that the Game Boy modding community has been alive and well and is now even thriving. You'll be amazed by how easy it is and how available the parts are and the amount of creative design people have come up with. Shout out to Game Boy subreddit. There are many different types of Game Boy screens for you to choose from to mod, but this right here, I think it's the best there is right now. This is the Retro Pixel IPS LCD screen, also known as Laminated IPS Game Boy Color screen. I've been using this for almost 2 years now and I've been enjoying it so much. But you know, it took me a while to make a video, but I'm here now. And in this video, I'm gonna tell you why I think this is the best version of the modern Game Boy Color screen that is right now. And I'm gonna show you how to mod it yourself. Let's go. The first step is remove 6 screws from the original shell of the Game Boy Color. They are tri-wing screws. Do not misplace them because you will need these for the new shell. The original screws are best quality. Remove the back shell, then you will find 3 more Phillips screws. You will have to remove them. Here I am using iFixit screwdriver kit, link in the description below. It's got me covered for every screw type I need. Next, you'll have to unlatch the locks of the ribbon connector cable. Be very gentle here cause it's very fragile. Now this is optional, but if your old Game Boy is very dirty, you can clean it with isopropyl alcohol using a damp cotton bud. Then prepare your new Game Boy shell. This is pre-cut. I'll put links in the description below. You can use the original, but you have to cut and trim the plastic yourself to accommodate the space for a new larger screen. And here is the new screen we're gonna use. It's called Retro Pixel IPS screen for Game Boy Color, also known as FunnyPlaying IPS Q5 laminated screen. The great thing about the pre-laminated screen is there's no gap between the lens and the screen itself, and there's no way for dust to get in. Apply the provided sticker on the back of the screen. Remove the adhesive tape to get ready to install it onto the new shell. As you'll see here, this is why you'll need the pre-cut Game Boy Color shell if you don't want to cut it yourself. It's precise. I should also mention that you should test the screen before installing it, but I guess I lucked out. Soldering time. Now tin these 2 pads, the start and select pads here. Now solder the provided wires to each pad. Then connect the circuit to the back of the screen. Again, be very gentle here, make sure they're aligned properly. Tape up with Kapton tape to insulate the electricity and keep things tidy. Then insert the new screen into your Game Boy Color motherboard. Don't forget to insert the ribbon cable all the way and lock it in place. Now check that everything fits nicely in the new shell. Now the instruction tells you to wire the start to P12 and select to P13 near the start and select buttons, but it didn't look pretty, so I changed them to these positions instead. If you have a clear shell and follow the original instruction, you will see a messy wires in the tummy of the Game Boy. Not gonna lie, I did go back in and resolder some stuff and burn the circuit a little bit. For those of you who are successful, Kapton tape up and install the buttons and the membrane. Again, this is optional, but you can clean up the motherboard with isopropyl alcohol. The next step is cut all these spikes so that they don't poke into the new screen. Then tape up with Kapton tape, which I didn't film here. Tidy all the messy wires with Kapton tape. Test close the shell to see everything fits nicely. Now you can reinstall the 3 Phillips head screws. The next spot we are going to have to solder is the connection point C at the switch. Connect a wire, then we're going to connect it to the power point PWR right here on the ribbon cable. The last soldering spot is the TCH point here. It's for touch sensor. Connect the provided touch sensor to it. Position it in the way that it can reach the top of the Game Boy Color shell. To keep it in place, we're gonna have to Captain tape the touch sensor onto the Game Boy shell. This will allow us to tap the Game Boy shell and the sensor will respond. Now this is my build footage from almost 2 years ago. The newer version of the screen and the building kit will have the touch sensor pre-installed, pre-soldered onto the ribbon cable. Put the infrared sensor cover back on, then reassemble the back shell. Use the 6 screws I told you to keep earlier because the OEM screws are the best quality. Now again, I hope this is not too late to mention that I advise you to test the screen before gluing it to the new shell. I guess I didn't get unlucky here. Because if your screen happened to be a faulty one, you can just replace the screen, not the whole shell itself. And there you have it, it's really simple. Now that's one thing that I didn't do as instructed. Well, what I was supposed to do was, I was supposed to wire 2 wires down to these 2 connection points right here, but I think it looks a little bit messy, so I didn't want any wires showing on the front of my Game Boy, so I rerouted the wires to somewhere else inside, behind the screen. Okay, so the really cool and intuitive thing about this touchpad is, of course, it's touch sensitive. And let me zoom in a bit. If you touch it, you can change the screen brightness, as you can see right here. And if you keep touching and holding it for a few seconds, I think like 5 seconds, like this, see the scan lines appear. It's like different screen effect to emulate the old classic feel of the old Game Boy screen. There are 5 scan lines for you to choose from. It cycles back to the original once you go past number 5. Like this. Now I'm not gonna lie, I did go back in and clean up a little parts of Game Boy with my isopropyl alcohol and resoldered some stuff, especially the 2 wires, and I did burn the circuit board a little bit. So those 2 wires, where it's not necessary, it can help you adjust the screen position by pressing and holding start and select button at the same time. You can have each part of the Game Boy Color logo light up. For example, just the game part, the boy part, and the color part. When only the game part of the Game Boy Color logo lights up, you can adjust the vertical position of the screen. When only the boy lights up, you adjust the horizontal position of the screen. When just the color lights up, you can change the color of the whole Game Boy Color logo text. And the reason why I said it's not so necessary is because this comes pre-laminated, pre-aligned, and it's centered correctly. Everything is perfect. I have no need to move it up, down, left, or right. The only bummer is I can't change the color of the logo now, but that's a small thing. But overall, I really enjoy this screen so much. That got me, instead of playing the Game Boy game somewhere else, like on this Abernic device, I forgot the full name. I enjoy using the original Game Boy body much more than something more modern but more capable. This just brings me back, man. Now here are the pros and cons. The first pro is you've got the larger screen than the original Game Boy Color screen. And as of now in 2023, it's the largest Game Boy Color IPS screen as well. The second pro is it comes pre-laminated, so there's no dust between the screen and the lens, and there's no gap between the screen and the lens, unlike old Game Boy Color screen, the original screen. The next pro is the intuitive control by touch and different grid lines and scan lines. For the cons, I think there are only two things I can think of. One is it requires soldering. On the newer version, you don't have to solder the touch sensor yourself because it comes pre-installed with a ribbon. And the next con is if you're using an original shell, it requires a little bit of plastic trimming or cutting, like this part. I wanted to keep the original in most original form as possible, so I just ordered a new FunnyPlaying shell. I won't say look and feels exact same as the original. I can't tell the difference, except the condition is much newer and much less yellow. Alright guys, that's it for this video. If this video has given you some new information, if you learned something new for this video, or if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to this channel. Let me know if you want to see more retro gaming stuff, because I am into it as well as videography, photography, and smartphone Google Pixel stuff. Okay, that's been for this video guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.